I always think about Clay when he's yelling at Pickett to spill it, just certain things that you can pick up as the game is going so fast, so quickly. I think that's just a massive thing. And the other thing that they wanted to highlight, like Tim said, is he appears to process the game at a high level. So yeah, FBI, I'm super, super excited about that. What's really cool too is it says it's a good blitzer. It doesn't give it away. Quick first step, long arms up in the passing lane, great hands, really violent, good at jolting, fast, that kind of stuff, Peanut Tillman style. I'm starting to like him more and more. It's just where do I think would be the best value? I'd say maybe a third, fourth, something like
third.
That.
That's what I'm thinking too. And who knows, man? Maybe you pop in there with the top 30 visit. He runs a 4.40, and we don't find out until after the Packers draft him, like Jaden Reed, right? That's exactly what happened there. So there's still a little bit of smoke and mirrors when it comes to that. So these shuffled around a little bit before I could get the article finished. So notice Azare is 75th, and Dorian Porter is actually ahead of him. I just want to mention that. So Dorian Porter or Darian.
Oh, look, another Iowa State guy.
Darian Porter, outside corner out of Iowa State. Disruptive length, long arms, and timing to break up passes, agility in tight spaces, flips hips quickly to stay with receivers on short and intermediate routes, and awareness, solid feel for route combinations and zone, stepping in front of throws. Y'all ready for this? Drum roll, please. Bang, 999 RAS. So his height, 6'2". All right. Weight, 195. His composite explosion grade, a vertical jump of 36.5 inches. His broad jump, 10'11", scoring him a 9.56. 40-yard dash is listed here on the RAS card as a 4.30.
Here's the guy.
20-yard split, 2.54, scoring a 9.27. 10-yard split, 1.51, scoring a 9.28. Composite agility grade is also elite, with his shuttle being 4.04, scoring a 9.28, and a three-cone of 6.71, scoring a 9.47. I expect this dude to go way before 72. I don't know what it is. I could just see him bouncing up and being possibly a second-round pick. I don't know how you guys feel about it. What do you think?
I absolutely love Darian Porter. This just makes me even like him a little bit more. This last year was a 79.4 grade, played 12 games, 203 coverage snaps. He only allowed 5 receptions on 17 targets. That was a passer rating against him of 4.7. I say again, a passer rating against him of 4.7. He had 3 picks, played predominantly outside corner, and had a coverage grade of 90.1, man coverage grade of 63.5, and a zone coverage grade of 91.1. Let's go.
And it is worth mentioning, Tim, that Greg Cosell, I gave him the 5-point bonus from Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell absolutely loved this dude.
Yeah. I'm just reading up some notes here too. Good ball skills, great hands, explosive dude, struggles with tackling. I don't know what we have for a tackle grade on him. Struggles with tackling, struggles getting off blocks at times. Those would probably be the main negatives.
Run defense grade of 36.8. So I'm assuming the tackle grade is not great as well. But you know what? I'll happily take that if you're a 90 graded PFF corner doing the corner stuff.
Let's remember, he's a converted receiver. So, he's kind of new to the corner position.
Got it. Good stuff, boys. All right, moving along. Next corner on the list is Zy Alexander at 102 on our board here, okay?
Here's the guy.
Aggressive ball skills, attacks the ball in the air with confidence, generating deflections and INTs when targeted. Press man comfort, stays in receiver's face at the line using physicality to reroute effectively. Change of direction, quick feet and hips help him stick with cuts and double moves. However, a yucky RAS. All right, his height 6'1". Other than that, it's showing 187 at 6'1". Is scoring a 4.51. His vertical jump only 31.5 inches. That puts him at a 1.58. Broad jump was only 9.09, putting him, or 9'9", I think is what that is, puts him at a 2.69. His 40-yard dash was a 4.56, scoring a 5.05, with the 20-yard split being even worse. 10-yard split's the strong point of the 40-yard dash, but it's nothing to write home about. No agility testing there for Zy Alexander. So
he's the opposite of the last gentleman we talked about. Great tackler, great in the run fit.
Yeah.
Not a super athletic dude, not the best cover guy. So, it all depends on what what you're looking for at corner, you know?
Yeah, definitely. All right, there you go. That's Zy Alexander. And then our next guy in the 91 spot is Maxwell Harrison, outside corner from Kentucky. Instinctive playmaking, jumps routes with sharp anticipation. Guys, I think he had 3 pick sixes, I believe is what it was. Tackling reliability, consistently wraps up in the open field, supporting the run defense, slot proficiency, comfortable inside or outside with quickness to handle slot receivers' lateral movement. He scored a 9.62 RAS. He's 5'11". 183 pounds. So, and you guys know he's already putting weight on. He posted that picture of him on the scale. So he's trying to crack that 190 mark, it sounds like. I'm sure that's the feedback he got from scouts at the combine. His explosion grade is elite. Vertical jump of 39.5 inches, scoring a 9.33. Broad jump of 10'9", scoring a 9.29. 40-yard dash on the card, 4.28, scoring a 9.99. 20-yard split was 2.51. And the 10-yard split was a 1.53. So it's definitely more top-end speed than quick burst, which explains why he maybe didn't do the agility drills. But still, the 10-yard split's more than enough. They're scoring an 8.70. So the big thing with Maxwell Harrison for me, he's a little lower on our board. We have him at 91. Again, these got shaken up a little bit when I reset. That's why you got Zy above him, although he's 102nd and Maxwell Harrison's 91st. He's not going to be around at 91. So I'm a Kentucky fan. You guys know this through and through. It'd be hard for me to take him before the 3rd round, and I think I am the only person on the face of the earth that would say that.
I mean, it depends. He's a zone guy, right? You want a zone corner, this is your dude probably, at least one of your dudes. But I'm with you. I don't think you reach for him or anything, but I'm a little higher on Harrison than I am on a lot of these other guys for sure.
At least he's got that upside with the the like I said, the physicality, right? The tools anyway.
Yeah, I'm still a little hesitant with him. 2022 played 4 games, had a 53-2. 2023 played 13, 81-8, by far his best season. But then in 2024, again, goes back to playing 7 games, just under 300 snaps. Didn't really have much production as far as any kind of, 2023 had 5 picks. Otherwise, he just had 1 other pick in the rest of his career there in college. Predominantly played outside wide, almost never in the slot. Man coverage grade of 55.1, zone coverage 62.4, run defense grade is 56.8. It just, to me, doesn't make sense where he is going to be drafted. I wouldn't want to be drafting him there.
Yeah. And it is worth noting, though, the PFF grade this year was bad, like you said. So was Deion Walker's. That Kentucky defense took a huge step back. If I hadn't been watching all their games, I'd just be thinking singularly, both these guys just suck. But it would seem like the group collectively took a step back. And typically when multiple stars on a defense from the year before take a step back, there's something going on schematically. And I don't have time to break down college tape, obviously, but it is worth mentioning, though, Senior Bowl, he dominated. He did get the bonus from the Senior Bowl, so that's another plus. Again, I think he'll go way sooner than I think he should, in my personal opinion. Hopefully he proves me wrong, but I'd love to see him absolutely dominate at the next level. So there is your cornerback breakdown, the top 100, or the cornerbacks that fell within the top 100 of our PTA big board. So
can we talk about one just outside of the top 100?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it, man.
Noel Williams, Cal Bears, 6'1", 200. He's kind of the opposite of these last handful of guys. He's a man-to-man kind of corner. Curious to see what your thoughts are on Noel Williams.
Jacob, why don't you hit on him real quick? Let me write this note down, and then I'm going to pull him up on our big board.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tim also am pretty intrigued by Mr. Noel Williams. 2022 played 11 games, 2023 13 games, 24 13 games. His grades went from a 71.7 to a 72 flat to this last year at 80.0. You see the progression there, as we always like to see. If you look at where he played, he's predominantly outside wide, did a few snaps in the corner, but almost exclusively outside wide corner. Passer rating when targeted this last few years, 67.3, 89.6, a 40.1. He had 7 picks last year, totally like that. Man coverage grade of 67.7, a zone coverage grade of 74.8, an overall coverage grade of 78.2, and a run defense grade of 78.7. I really, really like his all-around capability. What's even funnier is if you look at the PFF projected he's most drafted by the some team called the Green Bay Packers. The next highest is the Minnesota Vikings. We have them 26% highest graded to the Packers. The next highest again is the Vikings at 7%. So they've got us almost as a lock to take this dude. 6'1", 200. I can see why you like him, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. Versatile. Like his strength is definitely man coverage, but a guy that can play zone and a guy that can be effective against the run. And then fits those physical measurements too, like not too small, not too big. I feel like he is. I can understand why he's been mocked to the Packers so many times, because he does kind of look like a Packer type of corner. I don't know. What do you think, Clay?
We got him in the 174 spot, significantly lower. Again, he gets the googly eyes because he does beat the threshold, at least in the early tests here. The thing that's bringing him down on our board, in 2024, he was the 80th at his position. That's not horrible. That's not too bad. What did you say his PFF grade was last year, Jacob? 2024?
80.0.
Right. So that's like, okay, that checks out pretty good. The year before, he was 319th. The year before that, he was 303rd. So he's only done it for 1 year, really, right? PFF Big Board had him at 150. The consensus Big Board at the end of the college football season had him at 215. However, he did get the East-West Shrine Bowl bonus. He dominated at the East-West Shrine Bowl during practice that week. Kyle Krabs, just when you think, okay, we're on the uptick, right? Kyle Krabs had him in the 144 spot. So you go, all right, we're going back down. And then Dane Brugler had him at 91. So he's just kind of all over the joint. And last we checked, he scored an 8+ RAS, which obviously that would meet Goody's threshold in terms of RAS goes. So, again, we've got him in the 174 spot. When you look at his grade at 123.1, that would suggest you might be okay with taking him a little closer to the 130 mark, somewhere around in there, if that makes sense. So,
yep.
All right, we got a question here from Zach. Zach, appreciate you, man. He says, how do I join the Patreon? Okay, so if you go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, or you could scan that QR code in the upper right. Most people watch on their phone, so you can't scan it while you're watching on the phone. But if you go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, there's also a link in the video description here as well. You can go to my Twitter at Packers_access. There's a link there as well. When you join there, if you're a member of at least the $3 tier, that's what I recommend. Don't worry about doing anything else unless you just want to be generous to the show. But that'll get you access to everything on the site, all the articles we've written, all the breakdowns, the detailed looks at the prospects, and it's not going to end there as we get into the OTA portion of the season, and then training camp. We're going to have full training camp reports. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff in there. It also enters you into the giveaways, which we're giving away an autographed Mason Crosby card this Saturday. So if you're a member of that Patreon group, you'll go on the Pinky Wheel of Fame, the Larry McCarron Pinky Wheel of Fame. We'll spin that sucker and give it away to whoever it lands on. So
how about these hands?
Appreciate you asking, Zach. It's a really cool community. The other thing, too, is the chats in there. So you get access to every chat. We got them kind of divided up. We're going to do a mock draft contest that I'll be unveiling here real soon as well. We'll do a giveaway attached to that. A lot of cool perks, just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. But probably be doing some detailed film breakdown on there as well, since we can't do that on YouTube much. So we'll kind of make that exclusive to Patreon as well eventually. Not exclusive, but we'll make sure you guys have a complete log of all that information. But thank you for asking, Zach. Appreciate you, buddy. All right. Anybody else y'all want to see on this board before we move on to the next topic? We're doing pretty good on time here, man. We covered a lot.
I'm kind of stuck on corner. Coach Lynn mentioned him. I was thinking about him too. Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State.
All right.
Yeah, good one right here. Jacob Parrish, Darian Strong, two other ones. I was going to say Parrish and Kobe Bryant, but let's take a look at Jacob Parrish here. Well, I'm wondering where he's at.
Yeah, we got Jacob Parrish a little bit higher, Tim. He meets the threshold, and guess what? The Packers actually met with him as well.
There we go.
So not a top 30 visit, but they did meet with him, I would imagine, probably at the Senior Bowl or the Combine. We got him listed as a versatile corner, too.
Yep.
So had some slot snaps there. We got him in the 133 spot. He was 403rd at his position in 2022, 402nd in 23, and then jumped to 176 in 24. However, the PFF Big Board had him at 113. Consensus Big Board had him 138. Kyle Krabs had him at 81, and Dane Brugler had him in the 86 spot. Last we had checked, he scored an 8+ RAS. So that's where we've got Jacob Parrish. I love the versatility there for sure. What do y'all got on him?
5'10", 195. Pretty much a nickel guy, but might be able to be moved around a little bit. I agree with Coach Len. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, I like the other gentleman that he mentioned a little bit more than Parrish, Mr. Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech. He just turned 23, 6'1", 185, had a really great season in 2023, scoring at 81.6, playing 13 games. 2024 played 12 games, had a 73.9. Had about 5 interceptions the last 2 years, nothing too crazy, but he played predominantly, again, outside corner, just a few snaps in the slot. When you look at his grades, even by the game, he started off a little shaky this last year, but just seems to be pretty steady Eddie, high 60s, mid 70s. Man coverage grade of 64.6, zone coverage grade of 73.3, coverage grade of 75 flat. But I think you saw more what he's capable of in 2023, where he played against 13 games, had over 700 defensive snaps, over 350 coverage snaps. He only allowed 9 receptions off of 30 plus targets, allowed 1 touchdown, had 3 interceptions. And guys, he had a pass rating against him of playing 710 snaps on defense of 11.8. So he can be a shutdown corner.
Outside corner, right, Jacob? Is that what we're showing there, I think?
Yes,
Mostly.
sir.
All right. Outside corner. Go ahead, Tim. What do you got on him, man?
No, I was going to co-sign that because I'm looking at Dorian Strong, I'm looking at Jacob Parrish, and I'm looking at Kobe Bryant. Those are three corners that I see in that, 4th or 5th round, give or take kind of range. And so if we do in fact go corner a little early in this draft, these are guys I'd be looking at if we double dip and take another one maybe later on.
Got it. Yeah, we've got Dorian Strong in the 155 spot. He was 66 at his position in 23. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yep.
162 in 2024, so he fell back a touch. PFF Big Board had him 137. Consensus Big Board had him 95. We don't have any RAS information as of right now. Again, he's in the 155 spot with a grade of 115, which would suggest you kind of make a case for him somewhere around the 120, 130 mark, somewhere in there, according to our board, of course. What was the other name you said?
Kobe Bryant, out of Kansas. He's probably a little lower.
Actually, not a little higher, man. We got.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
143. The Packers met with him as well. And we got 356 at his position in 22. 23 jumped to 145. 24 he jumps to 59th. Must have been a decent grade there.
Yep.
PFF Big Board had him at 220. Consensus Big Board had him 142. However, Kyle Krabs 89. Dane Brugler had him in his top 100 at 96. He's really, really high on him. So
80.9 grade in 24, according to PFF.
Yeah, and he's been very durable. He's played 12 games, 13 games, 12 games, played almost 800 snaps in 23, nearly 750 in 24. Very much enjoy it. 4 picks the last 2 seasons, played predominantly outside wide. And here's my favorite part about him. Other than the fact he's got the 76.9 coverage grade, he has a run defense grade of 91.3. Let's go. That dude will be willing to throw his head in there.
Yeah, I mean, how many corners are grading out in the 90s?
Yeah,
on their run defense,
So
that's something to take a look at for sure.
Yeah. All right. Any other corners, fellas? Any at all?
Well, now that we're doing it, Coach Len says I can see Denzel Burks from Ohio State. I like him as well. A little bit underrated as far as being a guy from Ohio State. You don't say that often, right?
Yeah. I'll see your Denzel Burke, and I'll raise you O'Donnell Fortune.
There you go.
South Carolina Gamecocks. Let's go.
We got Denzel Burke in the 211 spot. Looks like early on it seems as if he's going to meet the athletic threshold, but had his best year in 23 where he was 91st at his position. However, the consensus Big Board had him at 85 at the end of the college football season. We got him in the 211 spot. That's a big difference, boys. So the PFF grade from 24 is what hurt Denzel Burke, obviously. So
where's O'Donnell Fortune on our list?
O'Donnell Fortune. Let's see here.
O'Donnell.
We got him in the 253 spot currently.
Yikes.
He meets the threshold as well. In 22, he was 91st at his position. 23, he fell all the way to 456. But then in 24, he climbed all the way to 18th. PFF Big Board has him in the 145 spot at the end of the year. And the consensus Big Board had him in the 352 spot. If you remove that 352, he would skyrocket up the board. But again, that's how people felt about him at the end of the college football season. So, I want you guys to take notes on guys like this. that you go, man, if it wasn't for the consensus big board at the end of the year, he'd be a lot higher. And we could collectively come together as a group and say, all right, do we want to change it to the updated consensus big board, or do we want to roll with it, what it was at the end of the year for specific players? Because there are some players that you go, like there's some that are in the 700s, and it's like, and now they're all of a sudden you look at the new consensus big board, they're 180. It's like, that seems really, really wrong. So, obviously there's going to be exceptions to some of this stuff. So any other corners we want to hit on here?
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, we covered it. Boy, I tell you, we hit our top one, the players that fell in our top 100. We took some requests here on the total request line. Clint has a question. Has Florida State had their pro day yet? According to AI, just doing a quick search here, they had it on March 21st, Clint. So all that information should be in for every single Florida State prospect. I'm sure that's why you were asking, like, is there some more numbers that's going to raise or drop a prospect's RAS? I imagine is why you were asking. So, yeah. According to Grok, that they had it on March 21st, 2025. So, all right. Any other prospects y'all want to see before we move along to the next topic here?
No, I think good.
All right. Cool. All right, let's move along. I think you guys are going to get excited about this. We're going to do another scouting report on one of the top 30 visits for the Packers. All right. And we kind of hit on him a little bit. I don't think we covered the complete scouting report, put it together just the other morning. I was actually in there having a cup of coffee and was like, we got to check on old Cowboy Ray here. All right. And see what's going on with him. Obviously, this is Jacob Bayer out of Arkansas State. I know we uncovered this gem of a picture here with the cowboy hat when they first announced he was going to be a top 30 visit. So smaller school. This was a real fun read, man. Let's dive into it here. It says Jacob Bayer scouting report. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Arkansas State center Jacob Bayer, according to posts on X, making him one of the latest prospects to meet with the team ahead of the 2025 draft. Who impressed at the Senior Bowl, joins a growing list of pre-draft visitors as the Packers evaluate options to bolster their offensive line with additional visits planned as the draft nears. All right, and here's what it says. 3-star recruit from Boerne, I hope I'm saying that right, high school in Texas. Imagine that. He's from Texas. In the 2020 class, Jacob Bayer was a versatile lineman known for his tenacity and football IQ. Scouts pegged him as fundamentally sound blocker with a strong base capable of playing multiple positions. That answers the question right there, boys. While not an elite athlete, his work ethic and technique earned praise, and he ranked number 108 among interior offensive linemen in the final Rivals ranking before enrolling at Arkansas State. It goes on to say college statistics. Bayer's 5-year career at Arkansas State saw him log over 2,900 snaps, primarily at center. In 2024, he started all 12 games, allowing 1 sack and 10 pressures across 732 snaps per PFF. His run blocking stood out, ranking 5th among FBS centers with an 82.1 grade, while his pass blocking efficiency placed him 38th over his career. He started 42 games, earning all Sun Belt honors in 2023 and 2024, though a torn ACL in 2019 delayed his early development. Goes on to say detailed scouting report entering the draft at 6'2" 3/8" and 302 pounds per Senior Bowl measurements. Bayers brings a sturdy frame with a 78 and an 1/8 inch wingspan and a jolting punch with 10 and 3/8 inch hands. His strengths lie in run blocking, where his wide base and upper body power displace defenders on double teams and inside zone plays. That sounds familiar, don't it? In pass protection, he anchors well against bull rushes using a double under technique to stall power rushers. His 5.10 second 40-yard dash at the Senior Bowl reflects below average agility, but his quick hands and football IQ compensate. Concerns include limited lateral range and struggles against speed rushers, making him a scheme-specific fit, ideally in a gap or inside zone system. He projects as a high-end backup or low-end starter with guard/center versatility. Injury and character concerns. Bayer's most significant injury was a torn ACL in 2019, which sidelined him for his freshman year, but he's since played 42 consecutive starts. I repeat, 42 consecutive starts without major issues, suggesting resilience. His 2024 tape showed no lingering effects, though his shorter stride raises minor long-term wear questions. Character-wise, Bayer has a clean slate, no suspensions or off-field incidents reported. Coaches laud, however you say it, his leadership, evidenced by his 2-year captaincy at Arkansas State, and his Senior Bowl participation reflects a strong work ethic. It says here, Bayer's draft projection spans the 4th to 6th rounds. Analysts see him as a day 3 pick, with Bleacher Report slotting him around number 140. Overall, due to his polish and positional flexibility, mock drafts peg him as a fit for teams like the Packers, who value linemen with grit, potentially in the 120 to 160 range. A strong top 30 visit could nudge him into the late 4th. Otherwise, he's likely a 5th-round target for a team needing interior depth. I kind of like this guy, Tim. The more you read up on him, man, 2-year captain, played 42 consecutive starts, a little bit of a mauler, got some versatility. When we first seen this, it was like, whoa, are we going to draft a center after we move E to center? But now it's becoming clear. Let him sit behind E, and you got that versatility to potentially play guard along the way too. So
look at that guy, man. Arkansas State. You telling me he ain't going to look good on the line with Nacho Libre, Sean Ryan out there? Come on now.
Look at that guy right there.
Here's the guy.
That mullet has broken so many hearts. I'm just telling you right now, man. Ain't no two ways about it. What do you think about Jacob Bayer, man? What do you think about a nice little 4th-round pick? We got a pretty good track record taking offensive linemen late in the draft like that, right? I
was just going to say, let's not reach. If he's hanging around there, you can do a lot worse. And I think, like you said, the consensus between, all of us fans who don't know what the hell we're talking about is
that's me.
Is Big E's moving to center, right? It's a foregone conclusion. Well, it doesn't mean you don't, draft a guy behind him, and right. This gentleman right here certainly looks like he fits the bill, right?
Yep. No doubt about it, man. Let's see. Greg Rice, to multiple positions, the Packers often prioritize athleticism, size, and arm length, their offensive line selections, which allows them to develop players into roles that best suit the team's needs. I don't know, man. This guy I have a hunch he's going to be a Packer after the draft. Yeah. We're going to be hitting that a lot, too, if we make that pick live from the draft party. So, anything else on our boy Jacob Bayer? Well, let me hit this real quick. Fred McFarley says Monk, and we know exactly what he means, right? Jacob Monk.
Jacob Monk.
That's the thing. Like, to me, Jacob Monk isn't like a slam dunk. I was amazed at how people talked about him being, hey, that's the guy who's going to step in and play for Myers after Josh Myers leaves, because we haven't seen him, right? Now, we know the Packers liked him a lot, but if you take a Jacob Bayer, imagine that camp battle, Tim. Imagine backup center. If E does go to center, like all the reports are saying, if E goes to center, imagine that camp battle for backup center between someone like a Jacob Bayer and a Jacob Monk. Yep. That would be a blast, man. That would be absolutely.
And then you get the added caveat of one or both of them being a backup guard for you as well.
And I kind of feel like Jacob Monk is more of a pure center. However, if Jacob Bayer comes in and goes, okay, man, we like them both. They both make the roster. If you spend a draft pick on them, you're probably going to let them make the roster anyway.
Yep.
Kick him into guard, leave Jacob Monk as your backup center because it was close enough, and let's just build him up as this guard. And then when you look up in a couple of years and he's, gone because he's approaching 30, if he's not 30 already, right, then one of those two guys wins the center job, or you draft another center, and who knows, maybe someone like a Bayer or a Monk could step into one of those guard roles. It could happen. I kind of feel like if Rasheed Walker tries to break the bank on the Packers, they're going to look to put Jordan Morgan at left tackle, his true position he played his entire life. I don't know, something in the back of my mind is like they may just let him walk in free agency, get a nice little comp pick. Because I think Ryan said it on his pod, Rasheed Walker was the 10th best pass blocker last year in all of pro football. So
all the more reason to draft a guy like this, right?
Yeah.
And then, we got Aaron Banks now. We just made that free agency pickup. So you've got a little depth there on your interior. if you had to pivot away from Rashid for some reason, we've got 1 to 3 guys that we could, try out at that spot. So I think it does. This Jacob Bear makes a lot of sense, especially like you're saying, 4th or 5th round or something if he's hanging around.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Lynn seems to agree. That might be the plan there, right? Could be. SDM40 says, I'm still not buying Jenkins. The center is set in stone. I don't think anything's set in stone at this point.
I agree.
Now, if you come out of the draft and you don't like what you did at the center position in that regard, I think he's the top candidate. I mean, that's what all the reports are coming out of Green Bay. So
we'll see how we feel around the end of August. See how camp plays out a little bit and what they're cooking up. But I agree with SDN 40. I mean, I'm buying that Jenkins to center seems to make the most sense, but I don't think it's set in stone right now. It's too early.
Absolutely, man. And again, like going into camp, there's going to be some fun camp. Here's the other thing I'm going to say, guys. It's like, it's not us, but many people, I think that many Packer fans just assume there's no chance we take an offensive lineman with that 23rd pick. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the right guy falls. And here's a little tease for what we'll cover tomorrow if we have time. And you guys can go ahead and get a sneak peek at it if you want and get kind of brushed up on it. We got an article put together, the top offensive tackles to watch in the 2025 draft. We did the same thing we did with the corners, everybody that fell in the top 100. So if you're a member of the Patreon group, you already got access to that. Dive in there. Tell me what you think. We break everything down in order. We got their RAS scores and give kind of just a little where they're projected. That was a lot of fun seeing where all these guys are going to be projected. So it's just what we're doing, Tim. They didn't even realize it, but we're putting our own draft guide together.
Yep.
In the plans, but that's what we're doing. It's been a lot of fun. So, but yeah, that's something I don't think is out of the question of them potentially drafting an offensive lineman at 23 and just continuing to bolster that up. And now you can really let Rashid walk. Who knows, man? What if a really, really solid tackle falls to the Packers at 23 and, hey, that's going to be your starting left tackle, and they put Rashid on the trade block? Like, who knows what you could get for Rashid, right?
Yeah.
I like Rashid. I want him to be a Packer. I just don't know if I like Rashid to the tune of 25 to 35 million a year, because that's what left tackles are going for that are good pass blockers like him. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Packers have never paid more than 2 top offensive lineman money, if that makes sense, or what I call starter level money. Okay. Right. So E's under contract. It would take you're going to be putting Zach Tom under contract. We know that's a done deal, right tackle, right?
Yep.
They're going to do everything to keep him and pay him top money. So if you got Elton getting paid top money, you got Zach Tom who's going to be getting paid top money, or you're going to pay a third offensive lineman top money. They could do it, but to the best of my knowledge, it's never happened. Like you had Chad Clifton who was making darn good money, right? And then they draft Brian Bulaga to try to replace him. That didn't work out. And they kick him over to right tackle because Tauscher got hurt. This is way back in the day. I'm dating now.
Yep. If
I'm remembering this correctly, y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, okay? So Bulaga goes to right tackle. Clifton gets banged up. What did they end up doing? They drafted a young guy by the name of David Bakhtiari.
Yep.
Now you're on a cheap contract again. So in that situation, they paid Brian Bulaga a second contract, so that's one player that was getting paid good money, right?
And didn't they restructure Josh Sitton as well around that time?
I'm trying to think of when they let Josh Sitton go, because that one blew me away that they just cut him training camp, whatever it was. The point is they've paid 2 starter money, but I don't think they've ever paid 3 offensive linemen starter money. So if Zach Tom's going to be getting paid starter money, Elton Jenkins is going to be getting paid starter money.
Where does Rashid Walker fall in? Yeah.
Or you move on from Elton Jenkins, you pay Rashid, and now hopefully you've got your center of the future taken over, right?
And Rashid's under contract through 26.
That's a good question. I should know the answer to that. I'm going to look it up real quick, Tim.
Because what would really throw a wrench into things is if, Sheed comes out and has an all-pro season.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're all like, okay.
Let's keep him.
Yeah.
Right? That's the guy you move forward with.
Yep.
He's going into the final year of his contract, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, 2025.
So if they don't make a move, then it's going to be he's auditioning for that next contract for sure this year.
Absolutely, man. and there's pretty much no guaranteed money with it, right? So the cap hit is $3.2 million, but it's all base salary. I mean, yeah, you got to steal at left tackle. There's no two ways about it, man. That dude is, yeah. So, and that's a great point there. John Smith already paying Banks as well.
Yep.
Already forgot about
Banks is getting money too. Yep.
So, yeah. So you've got two guys making starter money. Yep. So when you pay Zach Tom, that would be a threat. Sheet, you can't pay Sheet, right? Like, what am I missing here? I mean, you could try to cut costs somewhere else, but you know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. Front load a contract for him or something. Try and, make it sweet. But yeah, it's going to be tough because Zach Tom's going to get the bag. He's got it. Yep.
Yeah. Coach Lynn asked the question, can Zabel play left tackle? It's my understanding, Coach, that Gray Zabel blew people away at the Senior Bowl. They tried him all over that line in practice, and he dominated. He was the best center there. He was one of, if not the best guards there. And when he played tackle, he impressed. So it's my understanding he can play tackle as well. Gray Zabel is that kind of that Swiss Army knife. If you draft him, man, I'm a little lower on Gray Zabel than most people. Some people got him. You guys will see that in the article over at the Patreon group. If you scroll down, he's definitely on that article. And his projection doesn't match where I've got him on the board, but I'm in the minority there. There's a lot of people, Tim, that think Gray Zabel's a first-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, North Dakota State certainly felt like he could play tackle. 961 snaps last year at left tackle. In 23, he played 686 snaps at right tackle and then 211 snaps at left guard. So he's kind of moved, interior and on the outside as well. So, I mean, just judging by college career, I mean, clearly he can play tackle. It's left to be determined what he can do at the pro level, but graded out at a 90.4 last year, playing a lot of left tackle. So,
yeah, stud. And again, the latest mocks on the mock draft database are suggesting a mid to late first round pick for Gray Zabel. Now, again, that's a whole bunch of media members doing mock drafts, so it's not like we don't know for sure, but it seems like the buzz matches up. Coach Lynn says he looks good on the interior for sure at the Senior Bowl. Yeah, that's where he's going to make his hay for sure. Like, he's going to be a dominant interior guy, no doubt about it.
That stood out for real. Just watching the practice and then the game tape on him, I think he actually looked better inside than on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drew D makes a great point here, as he says. Sorry, buddy. He said he had 32-inch arms, so offensive tackle is going to be tough with that length. That's a great point. It's 32 even too. 6'5", 312, but 32-inch arms. But then on the flip side, 26 reps is enough to play interior. 26 bench reps. His vertical jump, Tim, you ready for this? At 6'5", 312 pounds, Gray Zabel's vertical jump was 36.5 inches.
Holy cow!
With a 995, his broad jump.
With that dude on the basketball court, man.
Yeah, broad jump was 903 at 895 was what it scored. So he's got an incomplete RAS, but man, he can jump out.
I get what Drew's saying too with the
absolutely.
The shorter arms. Tackle might be a little tougher with that arm length at the pro level, but again, like Mike Wall always says, right? It's from the ground up, right? If you've got good footwork, you got a solid base under you, and you can play well with your feet. You can kind of make up that difference. They said Bach had short arms too. I always bring that up. We heard the same thing about David Bakhtiari, and arguably one of the best left tackles ever to play in Green Bay. So, if your technique is right and you're able to use your footwork to win in the trenches, you can get away with it. But I would agree with Drew, though. I think he's better on the inside for sure.
Yeah. Let's see what John Smith says here. He says, Packers have drafted a lot of short arm O-linemen, though. He said Tom, Morgan, Balaga, Bach. Balaga's definitely were. I didn't realize the rest of them were, though. That's pretty wild. I'd definitely take your word for it there, John. Emilio, look at this guy. Said he had class tonight.
He has no class.
Yeah. He says punch length from roll of shoulder to bottom of palm of hand. I'm going to pretend like I know what that means, Emilio. That's all I got. That's all I got. Bakhtiari, 34-inch arms for context, so 2 inches longer for Bach than Gray Zabel.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
There you go. All right, guys, that's going to do it. This is a lot of fun. Tim, we covered a lot, bro. Balaga had 33-inch arms, so there you go. So Zabel's is actually shorter than Balaga's, and they gave him a hard time on it. So
all you Bakhtiari fans, get to the pro shop too. All the Bakhtiari jerseys are on clearance right now. I was up there earlier today. Go and get you a 50% off elite jersey there at the pro shop.
There you go. 2-0 for this says it's 25-inch arms too small to play tackle. Asking for a friend. All right, Tim, you got anything else?
High school, right? High school, that'll work.
Oh yeah, you kidding me, bro? We had people 170 pounds playing guard in high school. It's hilarious. We sucked though. We sucked pretty bad. So.
Love it.
I wasn't allowed to play football. I was a baseball player, and my coach would not let me play football, and it devastated me, man. Got talked into it by the high school coach to play receiver my senior year, and baseball coach caught wind of it and nipped that in the bud. So,
got to protect your players, right?
Yeah, I guess you do. All right. Anything else, Bub?
I think that's it. I think we covered a lot. Sorry, I threw like 9 other corners into the conversation earlier.
Bro,
but
that's the stuff I want, man. I'm telling you, that's the best content. Is just us spitballing and kind of going through the draft board and trying to find these guys that we like. And I want to be very, very clear. Everybody hearing my voice. The draft board that we've created, please don't take that as gospel. I'm not saying, hey, you've got to agree with this. This is how I build a draft board, right? And Emilio's helped me this year, and Tim and everybody's been giving input. This is the PTA big board, don't get me wrong, but you guys, man, let us know if you disagree. That board isn't the gospel. It's been pretty damn good the last few years. It's been a lot of fun kind of watching it unfold as the draft happens, and we're always trying to tweak it as much as we can. But, yeah, please don't feel like that's something that, is set in stone for everyone, right?
Yep.
So, I bet you don't know what the gospel is, fam. You
Chiefs fan, you.
Yeah. Wait, we'll find you at the draft and douse you with holy water, sir. So, all right, that's it, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Again, check out the Patreon group. All those articles up in there. Appreciate everybody joining us. It's blowing up. Cool community. And we're trying to steer everything in that direction because we want to make sure everybody has got ties to us and getting the best bang for your buck. If you're hearing my voice and you're a member here on YouTube and you're more comfortable with that, that's totally cool. You're entered in the giveaways as well. I just want to make sure everybody knows that being a member of the Patreon group for $3, you get a lot more. And it's kind of cool to have everybody in there where we can communicate. And we're going to do some really creative stuff this year. I'm excited. I've been doing a lot of brainstorming. So, and as my wife would tell you, that doesn't happen often. So, all right, everybody have a good night. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. More draft breakdown. We'll hit the offensive line. We may hit some edge defenders as well. It's going to be a good time. So everybody have a great night. Y'all take care.
Then we go. We out.
Bye, guys.